the bustling heart of the city, amidst the towering skyscrapers and hurried footsteps, stood a grand old bank. Its marble floors gleamed under crystal chandeliers, and the air buzzed with the quiet hum of wealth. One crisp autumn morning, the heavy glass doors swung open, and an old woman named Alara stepped inside. She was frail, her clothes were worn and patched, and she clutched a tattered handbag to her chest. As she shuffled towards the long queue, whispers and giggles rippled through the line. The well-dressed patrons exchanged looks, some rolling their eyes, others smirking. "Look at her," one woman whispered to her friend. "She must have wandered into the wrong place." Alara heard them, but her face remained calm, her gaze fixed straight ahead. She had grown accustomed to being invisible, to being judged by her appearance. When it was finally her turn, she approached the teller's window. The young teller, a man named Mark, but he looked up from his screen. "How can I help you?" he asked, his tone impatient. Alara cleared her throat softly. "I'd like to make a withdrawal," she said, her voice raspy with age. Mark sighed, a flicker of annoyance crossing his face. "ID and account number," he snapped. Already expecting this to be a waste of his time, Alara fumbled inside her worn handbag, her hands trembling slightly as she pulled out a faded passbook. She handed it to him. Mark took it with 2 fingers, as if afraid it might soil his hands. He opened at it, his eyes scanning the page, and then he froze. His condescending smirk vanished, replaced by a look of utter disbelief. He blinked, looked at the passbook again, and then stared at Alara, his mouth slightly agape. Is this correct?" he stammered, his voice suddenly losing its sharp edge. The numbers on the page were staggering, far more than he handled in a typical day, more than he had ever seen in a single personal account. Without another word, he quickly stood up. "Please, ma'am, excuse me for a moment," he said, his voice now laced with a respect that was absent just seconds before. He hurried towards the manager's office at the back of the bank. The other customers in the queue watched, their curiosity piqued. The laughter had died down, replaced by confused murmurs. The bank manager, Mr. Harrison, was a stern man who valued efficiency above all else. He looked up, annoyed by the interruption. "What is it, Mark?" "I'm busy." Mark, still looking dazed, placed the passbook on the manager's polished desk. "Sir, you need to see this." Mr. Harrison scoffed, picking up the tattered book with a look of distaste. "What am I looking at?" "Another closed account with a few cents." He opened at it, and his expression mirrored Mark's. Silence filled the office. He traced the long string of zeros with his finger, his eyes wide. He looked up at Mark, then back at the book. "Where is the account holder?" he asked, his voice a low, urgent whisper. She's waiting at my counter, sir," Mark replied. Mr. Harrison immediately shot up from his chair, smoothed his suit jacket, and strode out of his office with a purpose he rarely showed. The entire bank floor seemed to fall silent as the manager himself walked briskly towards the counter, where the old woman stood patiently. The onlookers were now completely bewildered. The manager, a man who rarely interacted with customers unless they were major investors, was now approaching the poor widow they had all ridiculed. He reached the counter, a completely new expression on his face, one of deep respect and a touch of awe. "Madame," he said, his voice smooth and courteous, "I am Mr. Harrison, the bank manager. Please, forgive the wait. Would you be so kind as to join me in my office? We can handle your transaction there, for your privacy and comfort." Alara simply nodded. As the manager personally escorted her towards his office, the whispers started again, but this time they were of a different nature. "Who is she? Did you see his face? What's in that account?" The woman who had laughed the loudest now stared, her face a mixture of shock and embarrassment. Inside the plush office, Mr. Harrison offered Alara the most comfortable chair. "Can I get you some tea? Coffee? Water?" he asked solicitously. Alara politely declined. "I just need to withdraw some funds," she stated simply. Of course, Mr. Harrison said, quickly processing the request himself. "May I ask, madam? This is a rather substantial account. It's been dormant for quite some time." Helera looked out the window for a moment before speaking. "It was my late husband's," she explained. "He was a simple man, a carpenter, but he was wise. He never trusted banks much, but he trusted one thing: compound interest. He started this account the day we were married, 50 years ago. He put a small amount in every week, without fail. He told me, 'Helera, this is for you, for the day you might need it.' He passed away last year. I haven't needed it until now." Mr. Harrison listened, captivated. This wasn't old money or a lottery win. It was a lifetime of quiet, disciplined saving, a testament to love and foresight. "He sounds like a remarkable man," Mr. Harrison said, his voice filled with genuine admiration. "He was," Helera said with a soft smile. "He always told me that true wealth isn't what you show, but what you have for those you love." The withdrawal was for a local children's charity, an organization that was about to close its doors due to a lack of funding. Helera was donating enough to keep them running for the next decade. When the transaction was complete, Mr. Harrison personally walked Helera not just to the door of his office, but all the way to the bank's main entrance. He held the door open for her. As she stepped out into the sunlight, the bank patrons who remained watched in stunned silence. They had judged a book by its cover and had been proven profoundly wrong. The frail old woman in patched clothes was wealthier than all of them, not just in money, but in spirit. She walked away, leaving behind a powerful lesson in a bank that dealt in numbers. A lesson about the true measure of a person's worth. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe for more stories that inspire.